Hi everyone, my name is Reaghan Bellinger. I'm a real estate agent with Century 21 Professionals. Today I want to walk you through what's actually been happening in the Macomb County real estate market over the first half of the year, from January to June. I pulled all of this straight from the MLS, so this is real local data, not national news that may or may not apply here. Here's the big picture up front. This is still a strong seller's market, but not the frenzy we saw a couple years ago. Buyers have gotten a little more breathing room, and sellers are still winning. And I'll show you exactly why as we go through the numbers. Let's start with a number everyone asks about first: price. In January, the median sales price in Macomb County was $267,000. By March, it dipped down to $260,000. In June, it went back up to $269,000. So what's going on here? This dip and recover pattern is actually really normal. Late winter tends to bring out fewer motivated buyers and sellers, which can pull the median down a bit. And then once it starts to get warmer, spring and summer, more families are trying to move before the new school year. More buyers are out shopping, and demand pushes prices up. Over the full 6 months, we're about $2,000, roughly 1%. But more importantly, prices never really dropped in any meaningful way. If you're a seller who's worried about a cooling market, this tells you values are holding steady and even gaining ground. If you're a buyer waiting for prices to fall, that's probably not the strategy that pays off here, as you can see with June rising. The market moves fast. Now, let's talk about supply, starting with new listings, meaning homes that hit the market that month. January started with 7,093 new listings. March dropped down to 6,366. And then June jumped up to 7,838, the highest of the three. This tells us sellers are gaining confidence as the year goes on. Fewer people wanted to list in that late winter window, March, which makes sense. Nobody wants to list a home in the winter in Michigan. But by June, we saw the biggest wave of new inventory hit this year. More sellers means more choices for buyers, and it also means if you're thinking about listing, you're not the only one making that move right now. Timing and pricing strategy matter more when there's more competition on the shelf. But here's the interesting part. Even with all those new listings, actual available inventory barely moved. Let's take a look. Active inventory, meaning homes actually sitting on the market at any given moment, was 2,085 in January, dipped slightly down to 1,955 in March, and came in at 1,948 in June. Do you notice something? Even though new listings jumped over 1,400 homes between March and June, total active inventory barely changed. It actually went down slightly. That means homes are getting scooped up as fast as they're coming on. For buyers, this is a reality check. More listings hitting the market, but they're not sitting around. You still need to move quickly when you find the right one. For sellers, this is great news. Low competing inventory means your listing stands out and doesn't get lost in a sea of options. That leads us right into buyer demands. Let's take a look at pending sales. Pending sales, homes that are under contract but not closed, tell us how much active buyer demand is actually out there. January had 4,993 pending. March dropped a bit to 4,641. Then June surged to 5,518, the highest number of the year. This is a really healthy sign. Buyer demand didn't just hold up in the spring, it accelerated heading into summer. And when you compare this to the active inventory that we just looked at, under 2,000 homes available versus over 5,500 in the pending pipeline, you can see just how lopsided supply and demand are in this market. That demand is translating directly into closing. Closed sales, deals that actually hit the finish line. We had 5,304 in January, 4,708 in March, and 5,015 in June. What I want you to notice is that closings track really closely to pendings from a month or two prior, which is exactly what you'd expect. It just confirms the pipeline is healthy and deals are actually closing, not falling apart. June's number, especially paired with June's pending count, it tells us we're heading into summer with real momentum, not just interest. Now, all these homes moving, how long does it actually take? Average days on market was 33 days in January, went up a bit to 38 in March, and came right back down to 35 in June. For context, 33 to 38 days is still fast. We are nowhere near a market that has homes sitting for months. If you're a seller, A well-priced home in good condition is realistically going to have an offer within a month. If you're a buyer, it means you don't have unlimited time to think. Once you find something, it'll be time to make that move. Even though March is the outlier, it's not a red flag. It's a seasonal quirk. Homes listed in the dead of winter often sit through slower foot traffic before spring buyers show force, which stretches out the average. By June, that number really tightened up. Let me give you a quick refresher on month supply. Month supply tells us how long it would take to sell through current inventory if no more active homes hit the market. So it would just be everything that's currently on the market. For January, it was 2.3 months, 2.2 in March, and 2.2 in June. We're sitting about 2.2 to 2.3 months. A balanced market, one that doesn't favor buyers or sellers, is generally considered to be about 5 to 6 months of supply. Our months of supply now is less than 5 to 6 months. We're at 2.2 to 2.3. So this is a very strong seller's market. It also has been consistent these past 6 months. Now let's talk about how close homes are selling to the actual list price. Sellers received 100% of list price in January, 99.7% in March, and right back to 100% in June. Let's have that sink in for a little bit. Sellers, on average, are getting full asking price, or within a fraction of a percent of it. And it's not just one lucky seller. It's the whole market. It's a direct result of everything that we just walked through. Tight inventory, strong buyer demand, and homes moving quickly. For sellers, this is validation that pricing correctly and confidently pays off. For buyers, it's a heads up. Those lowball offers are not the norm right now. You need a strategy that's competitive from the start. Okay, let's bring it all together. Over the first half of the year, Macomb County has shown prices holding steady and ending the period higher than they started. More sellers gaining confidence to list as the year goes on. Active inventory staying tight even as new listings increased. Buyer demand climbing into the summer. Homes selling in about a month on average. Less than 2.5 months of supply. Solidly a seller's market, and sellers consistently getting full list price. If you're thinking about selling, this data says the conditions are working in your favor right now. If you're buying, it means having your financing ready, knowing your must-haves, and being prepared to move quickly when the right home comes up. If you want to talk about what this means for your specific situation, whether how much your home might be worth, or how to put together a strong offer as a buyer, let's connect. Thanks for watching. Please leave a like and subscribe. Share with your friends who might be curious about Macomb County's market right now. And have a great day.